Hello everyone and welcome to a wonderful game that comes as a suggestion from a subscriber, Peter Merozzi, so thank you for suggesting this one. It's not so much about the game as about the gentleman who created the game, as the game is a fabrication as far as I understood it, but I will link an article in the description below so you guys can check it out. So the thing is, you all know what the ELO system is. When you win a chess game, you earn some ELO, you can check out ELO of other players, there's a top 100 list in the world, there's a top 100 women's list in the world, there's top 100 juniors, and ELO is just a very, very important way for us to understand who is how good in chess. For example, Magnus is over 2800, so that means he's extremely good in chess, and there are of course players who are 2700, 2600 to 2000, 1500, 1400, 1000. So there are a variety of strengths, of course, regarding this. However, it is attributed to Arpad ELO, who did not, as I understand it, create this system. The system was created by none other than Roger Cook of Sydney, who died this week at the age of 80 years old. And this article was published in the Sydney Morning Herald, and it was sent to me to check it out. So the game is basically a fabrication of Roger Cook, and he uses his pseudonym JimSumptner, who he sometimes used to create fun games such as this one. And this one is specifically really awesome, as it features 7 queens on the board, which is with perfect play, or even with reasonably good play, you will not be seeing 7 queens on the board. However, this game is quite believable, as you'll see. So interestingly, when Cook started using his ELO rating list, we kind of got a glimpse of how good someone was, but it was not sort of how good someone was over the course of 10 years, but how strong he is at the moment. So that's why we call it the ELO rating list, but it would seem that it's the Cook's rating list. Although by the time that FIDE requested Arpad ELO, if they could implement it in the FIDE rating system for chess, everyone was already calling it an ELO system, so that's why the ELO name stuck around. But interestingly, even though we don't use Cook's name, when he first implemented the past 2 years of tournaments in the world in 1966, which was kind of the Bobby Fischer era. Bobby Fischer was only second on the FIDE list. The first was actually Viktor Korchnoi. So I don't know how precise he was, or how thorough he was at filling out the games, but I imagine he was very thorough, and it would seem that Viktor Korchnoi was the highest rated on the first FIDE rating list. But okay, I just wanted you guys to know that, because I did not know this, and well, Roger Cook seems to be a very, very important person for everyone playing chess, so I thought you guys would be interested in knowing this. But this game here, like I said, it's a fabrication, and it's one that was created in Sydney in 1965 by Roger Cook, or as here you can see JimSumptner, his pseudonym. So let's check it out, and why it's so crazy with the 7 queens on the board. So here the opening is perfectly normal, and something that you would see every day if you play the Sicilian, or if you like playing against the Sicilian. So e4, c5, we have knight to f3, knight to c6, and now d4. So a nice open Sicilian. We have captures, and now e6, going for the Taimanov variation, knight to c3, and queen c7, the Bostrikov variation. We have bishop to e2, a6 now, taking away that b5 square from the knights. We have castles, and pawn to b5. We have king to h1, and now knight to f6. We have f4, and now if you've ever had similar positions, you always spend a lot of time, especially if it's a classical game, calculating if your opponent can push b4 or not. Because if your opponent can push b4, you're just going to lose the e4 pawn, which is not something that you want to do. But here black goes for b4. It's not the best move, but okay. this is where the fun starts. And white, of course, if just moves the knight, then white loses this pawn. So here white plays e5. We have b captures on c3, grabbing the knight, and white also captures the knight on f6. We have c captures on b2, f captures on g7, b captures on a1, promoting his pawn to a queen, and white does the same, g captures on h8, promoting his pawn to a queen. And now, how do we continue? Queen captures on a2, we have queen captures on h7. Now, if this was a real game, why I said that it's very unlikely that you would see so many queens on the board, there are many great moves here for white, like knight captures here, like f5, like bishop to h5. Those are all great moves, but okay. Here, queen captures on h7 was played, and now both players start pushing the other pawn for the queen. We have a5, h4. A4, h5, we have a3 and h6. Now both players move the queen. Queen to b1, we have queen to g8, and now pawn to a2. We have pawn to h7, a1 promoting to a queen, and pawn to h8 promoting to a queen. So we are at move 20, and there are already 6 queens on the board. Now, it doesn't matter how good you are, it's impossible to calculate what's happening here. Following 4 queens on the board is difficult enough. 6 queens, that's just silly. So here we have queen to b4, defending the bishop on f8, as white was threatening to pick it up. Bishop to e3, offering a queen trade here, and now knight captures on d4 first. We have bishop captures on d4, now attacking the queen, offering a trade again, and black declines. Mr. King plays queen a to a3. We have bishop to h5 now, finally putting pressure on this diagonal, and now d5. Now the queen also helps out with the defense of the f7 pawn. f5, trying to bust open the position, and now bishop to a6, attacking the rook on f1. F captures on e6, opening up the position, and here Mr. King just castles queenside. Rook captures on f7, attacking the black queen here, and now queen c to a5. Bishop to e7, and it's still a very interesting game, but after queen to a5, there's just not all that much for black to do. However, this is, like we said, a fabrication, and we need more queens on the board. c3, attacking the queen on b4, queen to d6, and now bishop to g4, threatening all sorts of nasty discoveries. So if e7, then okay, you lose too much material. So here rook to e8 was played, but now just pawn to e7 with check. We have king to b8, and now e captures on f8, bringing a 4th queen into the game for white, and 7th queen in total. And in this sort of fabricated game, it was in this position on move 30 that Mr. King resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. But just show you what would happen. I mean, look at all this firepower attacking the rook here. Let's say you take 1 queen off the board. It doesn't really matter. Queen captures on f8, queen captures, rook captures, and that's it. Now you're getting checkmated. Not much for you to do here. You're going to deliver a check. Now the king has to go back somewhere on the 6th rank. King to c6, queen to e8 with check, and now after king d6 is just a nice mate in 1. Queen to d7 with check, or queen to e6 with check, or you can pretty much do anything and still win the game. But yeah, on move 30, after he captures on f8, promoting to a queen, Mr. King resigned, and what a wonderful game, finishing with a position of 7 queens on the board. So really incredible, but not as incredible as the revelation, at least for me, that it was not Arpad ELO who invented the ELO system, but it was actually Roger Cook. So I was very happy to find out this new information for me. So hopefully you guys are happy as well that you've learned something new regarding chess. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys were also wearing a hoodie during this video to honor both of the hoodie guys. I would like to thank the first Elden Lord, Nagarjuna Ponugoti, congrats Harry 3 Grads, Andre Theron, and Alexander John Hoar for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot, I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions, such as this one and whatever else happens in the chess world. The Norway Chess Blitz starts today, and then, of course, the Norway Chess Classical event. Thank you all, I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.